coverage in Utah is on the KSL Sports Zone. Ready? The Cougars look to keep their unbeaten season alive with a showdown against Arizona. Your home for the best coverage of Cougar football is right here on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. This is JJ and Alex, presented by G2G Bars on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
He has some of the best vision and hockey IQ on this team. Logan Cooley out there with Kesselring. Kesselring, slap shot, score! Dylan Gunther, the first goal in Utah's NHL history. Listen to Utah. Oh, they're going to like the NHL just fine here in Salt Lake City.
Oh, man, we were treated last night. We've been waiting for it, and it was everything that we could have hoped for as a sports radio group, as people who just are fans of sports. Like that was, you all day yesterday when we heard Ryan Smith say, "Look, if you can't get behind this team, or if you can't like this team, like I don't think you like sports that much." Like it's a phenomenal thing what we watched yesterday, and to have it come to fruition where they get the W and they score. Look, it was a fun game to watch. It was you're on pins and needles there a little bit at the end. Jay Stevens, host of the Utah Puck Report podcast, right here with us on the program. Our show brought to you by G2G Bars. All natural ingredients and no preservatives make the G2G Bar perfect for anybody who needs a quick, tasty, nutritious boost. Jay Stevens, how'd you like it last night, Jay? Did you have a tear in the eye as the puck dropped?
My Lord, man, it was close. I was getting a little emotional, and I looked around, and I saw a lot of familiar faces I've known growing up here in the hockey community, and a lot of people that are, the true stewards of the game for this community, and I could see them, and I could see just the emotion and this proud moment for all of us who have been trumpeting the sport for so long and telling people to believe in it and that it would work here and that you would be a hockey fan if you just gave it a chance. And, man, it was just amazing.
Jay, I'm proud of you, though, that you showed restraint and you didn't do a shooey on the big screen. So I'm glad you held back. You didn't do that, but I'm sure you did enjoy it as everybody did. Just how thrilling was that? Just the first period, Jay, when they score the goal by 5 minutes in, the place goes nuts. And at that point, I'm watching, and I'm, we've all been talking about how great this is all off season long, but that's the moment we waited for, is that first game and that goal, and the reality of it sunk in. It's not surreal anymore. This is real, and we're enjoying it. It's awesome.
Yeah, and it was. I'm glad it came so quick, because then it just, if it wasn't 5 minutes in, then guys start gripping their sticks a little tighter, and the fans start getting a little worried, and I think that starts that downward spiral that we don't want to be in. So I'm glad it was quick, and I was glad it was Dylan Gunther. It had to be him or Clayton Keller. Those are our two scorers. We've got an amazing team, and we're really fortunate to take over after Arizona's just taken abuse for so long, and for them to be us now and to have this young, talented group. And I think a lot of people saw how talented they were last night, but to get that goal 5 minutes in, and the place was just so loud. And, I was sitting in media row, and my little table there was just rattling. And a couple of the guys were like, I've been to hundreds of Jazz games, and I've never felt this table rattle like this before. So it was just the place. I'm surprised the roof stayed on. It was just amazing.
Well, it was a cool day, and it was obviously, to have it culminated with a 5-2 win was awesome. Let's talk about the hockey part. It did take a minute. It seemed like everything was a little bit frantic at the beginning there, and it seemed a little unorganized, and things were just kind of, everybody was on edge a little bit. And but the rest of that game, honestly, to go up 3-0 and then to give up 2 goals. Connor Ingram had a phenomenal third period, but your thoughts just overall on the hockey play and how the team did last night. Not just from the, all the historic stuff was great, but in the end, they had to play a hockey game, and they got their first win of the year. How did they look, and what did it look like, and what did the team do that you liked?
Yeah, so that's the part, right? Now we get to finally, instead of talking about what if or whatever, now we actually get to break it down and really get to the X's and O's of hockey. And I think you nailed it. Connor Ingram really bailed us out at times where we absolutely collapsed defensively. There were a few of those big collapses, which you expect playing against a guy like Connor Bedard. I think the entire world saw that he attempted a Michigan goal in the second period, which would have blown everybody away. But, that's the kind of explosive move that kid is capable of. So to see how our team, we came out, and you expect that game one. You expect that everybody's going to be, like you said, disorganized and kind of getting their feet wet again and trying to fill everything out. Camp is one thing, but the lines aren't solid during camp. So once you start the game, you kind of get the chemistry back. I was really impressed with the defensive changes that we brought in. I thought Ian Cole was amazing defensively. He ended +2 on the night, and I just thought he was just such a solid back leader, and that's just what this team needed was him. Mikhail Sergachev is everything you expect him to be, but I thought Ian Cole was more of that surprise. Kesselring, just a tall, really smart player on the defense. So when we needed the defense, they were really there and just kind of leading by example. And I know they did get burned a few times. We dominated the first period. Second period, we absolutely got dominated. But Connor really bailed us out and was solid. He's got just we call it down saves. Like when you stand up, that's one thing, but when you go on the butterfly, back in the day, that meant you were stuck there. And the butterfly is when the goalie's down on their knees. And Connor's got such a good battle that when he's down, he's still quick. He can get both sides of the net and move around, and he was really showing that foot speed and pretty impressive. And then you saw the forwards. What do you think of those young kids and the creativity? They absolutely turnstiled some of the D for Chicago and really created. They didn't capitalize on all the chances. In hockey, we call that all Swedish, no finish. But there was just some of those moves that we were just blown away by, and it's just a good sign of things to come.
Well, one of those young guys is Dylan Guenther, and I think we heard about him, we knew about him. I mean, like he mentioned in the post game, like a year ago, he's playing in the American Hockey League, right? He's still young. He's like 21 years old. That guy's gonna be a star. Like it's not a matter of if, but when, right?
Absolutely, and I think we saw why last night, and. The team clearly believes in him. He's still in the third year of his entry-level contract. So just a young kid. And to reach out and say, you know what, we got the sample of what you were going to be last year, and even though you still have 1 year left at $900,000, after that, your contract kicks in 8 years, $8 million a year. I mean, to say that for such a young guy just proves that everybody believes this kid's the future of the Utah Hockey Club. He's going to be on the goal. He's going to be on the score sheet every night, and he's so much fun to watch. His release, that first goal, it was never on his stick. I swear, that thing was so fast. The pass came over, and it just like laser beamed off his stick. There's not many goalies in the league that are going to be able to stop that shot.
Well, you got the first one in the books there, and it was again. And by the way, the Blackhawks, at the end there, I know Liam O'Brien, he likes to stir the pot a little bit. They got a little chippy at the end. I like it. I liked how there was already a little bit of that like inter-division hatred a little bit. As I don't know who got the 10-minute major at the very end for the Blackhawks, but they sent him off the ice. And I was watching that part on TV. At that point, I was at home, and I'm watching – and I was like, "Oh wow, that's a lot of curse words for a gentleman." This is in hockey. You don't see a lot of cussing. No, I'm just kidding. But he was going back and forth, and he's like, blank you and blank you, to the whole Utah bench, and they're going at it. And I thought, man, this is where rivalries start up. And so it was a good start because it was a divisional opponent, and now they got to hit the road because they had the opening night against the Blackhawks, but then they go Islanders, Rangers, Devils, Ducks. It sounds so weird to even say that they're going to be going across that East Coast and playing the Islanders and the Rangers, and the Devils. It's just crazy to even say that out loud. And then they come back out here out west and they take on the Ducks. They're back at home on October 19th, but this is a lot of travel right at the top of the schedule. How do teams typically do with this type of travel schedule at the very beginning of the season?
I'll tell you what, this is actually a blessing in disguise, and it may not feel like it when you go from Salt Lake one night, you fly to New York the next, and then the next day you play, and every other night you're playing in New York, and then you fly all the way to the West Coast. But honestly, that's when teams really gel. And they're not going home to their families. They're not going out with their wives or going to Costco to get food or whatever they need to do. They're on the road. Every meal is eaten together. Everywhere they go is together. And this is the time where you really start to gel as a team. And again, they were together during training camp, and that's great. But there were 60 guys there at the beginning of camp. Now we're down to 23. And now these guys are really going to get to gel. And there's some new additions to the team. And you've got a core group that's been together for a while, but this is when everybody else they feel each other out. They really start fitting in a little bit better, and they become a tighter group. So to have this at the beginning of the season, right after training camp, they got to win. That feels good. They've got some real camaraderie already, and this is where they develop it even further.
All right, the team passed the test game one. Now I want to ask you if the crowd passed the test game one, and is there anything that they need to do different or they need to learn about better from your observations of watching hockey for a long time? You had a lot of people in there last night, 16,000 plus. Was the crowd as good as it could be? What else could they do to be better?
I honestly was really impressed with our crowd. I was a little less impressed with our PA announcer. He kind of let the crowd down a few times, knowing that there are some new people in town or some new people that are learning hockey. It's important to talk about when a penalty ends, when it's icing, when it's offsides. That's traditionally announced during
I didn't
the
see
game.
a power play clock in the arena either.
Yeah, and that was hard to find. It was more like watching a basketball game. There was a list on the left side of the Jumbotron, and it was right there next to the player's name, and it was just a small clock. And that's not traditionally how that is either, right? So everybody's got some stuff to learn. The basketball guys got some stuff to learn on that side. And the fans, I thought, were pretty phenomenal. They cheered at the right times. They cheered at big saves. They cheered at big hits. They understood when they cheered when we cleared the puck when we were killing the penalty. They understood that that's important. And we don't have dumb fans. For as much grief as we've been getting about being a new hockey market and not having a hockey IQ, I think we stepped up and proved everybody wrong. Salt Lake gets it. We know what's going on, and we're going to grow every game. The one thing it's traditional in hockey is that you don't move out of your seat while the puck is in play. And I did see some of that, and that agitates some people. And on the Utah Puck Report Facebook page and Instagram, we've been doing some polls and seeing what people thought of it. And that was one of the main complaints. That, the penalty clock, and not having an actual goal horn are some of the biggest complaints. But other than that, the fans were awesome. SCG put on an amazing show, everything we could ask for. Like, everybody loves the fact that you can order food from your seat, then walk up and get it. You don't have to wait in line. It's already done and paid for. And, it's just across the board. Everybody's happy, both sides.
Jay Stevens, Utah Puck Report. Yeah, it's a long roadie for this next one here, this stretch of the Utah Hockey Club hitting the road. Like you said, I'm assuming they're already out east because they've got the Islanders tomorrow, they got the Rangers on Saturday, and then they have Monday a mid-morning game against the New Jersey Devils. So, and then they'll come back and they'll play the Ducks, and then they'll be back at home on October 19th. So 10 days away still from another one to be able to enjoy at home, but that's when the Boston Bruins come to town. Speaking of big names who come through the arena. So there you go. You've gotten some hockey etiquette from Jay. Don't move when the puck is in play. All right, everybody? And let's get that louder train horn in there, and let's get this thing going. Jay, we appreciate it. Thanks for walking us through everything as usual, and we'll chat with you again soon.
I look forward to it. Thanks, guys.
There you go.
Jay.
Jay Stevens.
Good, we passed the test.
Got a
Good
little
start.
bit.
It was
Little bit.
great start.
I love when he's all, hey, we had mentioned some people were moving around during the puck play. All right?
Let's clean that up. Let's clean that up, Utah.
Let's get a louder train horn. And, hey, PA announcer, button it up. Come on. You got to make those announcements when the penalty's over or how much time's left.
But the call on the ice was correct. No goal.
That's the referee. I want the referee to be more open like that. Let's go. All right. You're not going to like it. There was
And
that
I
moment.
want all our referees to be from Calgary.
Well, there was a moment where they went and looked. I can't remember when it was when they looked to see if, because one of those that went off the pipe, they looked to see if it came off that center bar.
Yep.
And the way that everybody was reacting to it, I was like, oh man, they were showing it and it happened so quickly. But you can hear that ting, and Utah hit the pipe twice in that first period. So you're thinking, they got to be up 4-0 here. They're not scoring. When they finally got that goal, it was like, oh, thank heavens. So, man, what a fun night. Appreciate Jay giving us more insight onto that.